Hi, this is Peter Milburn with Out In About Outdoors. And we're giving you a little teaser here because we're going to be doing a little story video for you about fishing Bear Lake for lake trout and cutthroat trout. We're going to show you how to rig up, and then we're going to do a video that should be appearing here in the next week or so that'll show up on our page and on our YouTube channel to show you how to go out to Bear Lake and catch some of those big lake trout and cutthroat trout. And this is the perfect time of the year, January. The Cisco are starting to stage for the spawn, and when they get in great numbers and start coming into the shoreline, the Macks, the lake trout, and the cutthroats follow them, and they're aggressive, they're hungry, and it's one of the best times of the year to actually catch some of the really big fish out of Bear Lake. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the knot that we're going to use, because what I like to use when I'm fishing for these is I use a medium or a medium heavy 7-foot rod if I'm in a boat. If I'm ice fishing, I'll use a medium heavy, about a 4'8" rod ice fishing to catch these Macks and cutthroat. And we're going to use tube jigs, bucktail jigs, and some spoons. And we'll show you how to rig these up. But the important thing is how we rig our rods up. Right now it's open water, so we're fishing out of a boat or a kick boat or anything that you can get yourself out on the water. We're going to be fishing probably 55 to 70 feet of water. 65 seems to be the key depth right now where those fish are hanging out. And I like to use 20 or 30 pound braided line with a fluorocarbon leader. In this case, I'm using a 15 pound fluorocarbon leader to this jig. You want to use at least 10 feet of leader from your braid to your leader. Otherwise, if it's too short, what'll happen is when you set the hook, you want to give a really good hook set. You can snap your knots if your leader's too short because you don't have enough stretch in that fluorocarbon. And so the knot will break. What knot we're going to use is we're going to use what's called a uni knot, or a uni to uni. Okay, here's the knot that we're going to be showing you how to tie. This is I'm using 25 pound Sunline. This is Sunline braid. I really like this braid. It's really, really good. For the application we're using, you don't want to go lighter than about 12 to 30 pound is the type of braid I like to use. In this case, I'm using 25 pound braid, and I'm using, in this instance, 15 pound fluorocarbon leader. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to tie this leader to braid knot. That's really important. Remember, use at least 10 feet, 10 to 15 feet of leader of your fluorocarbon. We'll pretend that this is our braided line coming from our spool, and this is going to be our fluorocarbon leader. What we're going to do is just run the two lines parallel to each other. Make sure you have ample slack in the line, loose ends. What we're going to do is once we have one of them, we're going to pinch them together. We're going to make a loop in the first one, and then we're going to go through that loop 4 times. 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to gently just kind of cinch it up. Not all the way, but make it like that, loosely cinch it up. Now we're going to grab the knot, and we're going to take the other tag end, again, make that loop, and then go through, going away from you, over into the loop, over the line, into the loop, over the line, into the loop, loosely cinch that one up so we got a nice little knot. Now this is the killer part. We've got these 2 knots. What you want to do is actually lubricate it. I just put it in my mouth and wet it like that. It's important that when you pull this knot together, do it slowly, slowly till they hit. Once they hit, then cinch it up tight. And that is a perfect uni knot. Make sure you use scissors or clippers and cut off the tag ends. This is also a great knot if you're doing a dropper system. You can use the top one as a dropper and the bottom one. But in this case, we're tying a leader to our braided line. Just for a little teaser, we're going to show you a couple of the lures that we're going to be using in our fishing episode, and showing you how to use them is going to actually be in the video when we're out there fishing, showing you some of the big fish we're going to be catching using these things and some of the secret tips and techniques we're going to use. We're going to be using tube jigs. They're cheap, they're inexpensive. We're going to be using 3/4 and 1 ounce jig heads. Now, if they have the mustad type hooks like these, you want to make sure you sharpen them when you're using them so that they're really sharp, because these mustad hooks are kind of dull. I like to pour my own using Gamakatsu hooks, but in this case, we're using Big Bite tubes, Big Bite company tubes. There's various colors, but in Bear Lake, the best colors are pearl, white, glow in the dark, and pearl white. This is a pearl with black back. Multiple colors work, but sometimes one color will be better. Chartreuse is a good color, and when we're out on the lake, we'll show you the exact colors that work the best the day we're out. Okay, for this adventure on Bear Lake, we're going to show you what I like to use. I'm going to be using this 7-foot smoke medium action bait casting rod with a bait casting reel on it. The reason I like to do that is we're going to be basically vertically jigging, pulling the bait right along the bottom real slow is what technique we're going to be using. And so a bait casting rod and reel work really good for this. You have a very high retrieve ratio. This one's an 8-to-1 or 7.1-to-1. So you can crank line in really fast. It handles the braid really well. So I really love these smoke rods. I think they're one of the most sensitive rods out there, and for the price, they're really a good way to go.